Hi, my name is Sydney, and I'm going to teach you a behavioral therapy known as escape conditioning. Escape conditioning is a form of aversive conditioning. You may not know what that is now, but if you stay tuned, I'm sure I can teach you. Okay, so now I'm going to start off with the basics of escape conditioning. Escape conditioning involves the removal of an aversive stimuli after a response has already occurred. This is extremely important because this differentiates between escape conditioning and avoidance conditioning. Escape conditioning is the prep stage to avoidance conditioning. Now, not only is it important for psychologists to know the difference between escape conditioning and avoidance conditioning, it is also important for everybody who is in school, everywhere, to tell the difference because escape conditioning is used every day in almost any setting. For example, if you're at the beach and it's extremely hot and you want to cool off, what do? Typically, you would go inside the water. Another example would be if you're really cold and it's winter and you're outside, what do you usually do? Go inside and have some hot chocolate. Those are just a few examples of how escape conditioning works in everyday life, everyday settings. Escape conditioning is also used in psychological settings to treat patients with different illnesses. Not only are patients with psychological issues treated with escape conditioning, young children who misbehave and their parents can't handle it, escape conditioning is usually the way out. For this next example, I'm going to break down this escape conditioning method step by step for you to further understand escape conditioning and how it works. Okay, so let's start off with the aversive situation. A mother and child are at the park, and the child really wants to play in the sand pit. The mother does not want the kid to play in the sand pit, so he throws a fit and starts throwing the sand everywhere. Now for the escape response. To stop the child from throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of the park and causing a huge scene, the mother allows the boy to play in the sandpit with the cool kids. Okay, now for the removal of aversive situation. This one's very simple. This is just where the response stops. So where the negative response stops. The child stops throwing the sand. And the last step to escape conditioning is determining what the long-term effect is. The long-term effect to the example involving the child and mother at the park is most likely that the mother is going to always give in to the child whenever he throws temper tantrums or causes scenes in public places. Now that you know what escape conditioning is, you could ask yourself, when is it used, why is it used, and how is it used? With understanding these three questions, you will know the basics to escape conditioning. Escape conditioning occurs when an aversive stimulus is presented, and then a response is occurred. Escape conditioning is used because the subject is usually uncomfortable or unpleasant in a situation, causing them to want to remove themselves from the situation. To better understand escape conditioning, ask yourself, how does it work? Escape conditioning works by the removal of aversive stimuli during a situation where a response has already occurred. Now, with knowing the basics and understanding escape conditioning, maybe you can use what I taught you to your advantage in everyday life.